guys.
Yes.
Are you at a university?
The
What
price
is happening?
wrong.
Hello. Yes.
The price is wrong. That's amazing.
Price is wrong, bitch.
Happy
Oh,
Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore.
Yes.
Best movie ever. Best movie ever.
So, Molly, who's our special guest tonight?
Well, you know, we haven't had him in the studio for a long time, but ladies and gentlemen, Adam Levin.
Adam Levin is
bird.
back.
Dun-dun-dun.
He's back.
So good to have you back, man.
Woo. Wow. New setup. Trying it out.
Yeah.
It's the home rig.
The home rig.
You know.
You're a podcaster now.
You got your ultimate ears in, I could tell from the little wire dangling
Got
down
a little,
from here.
got a little that. Got a little,
Yeah.
little party.
Mine's-
Little business. How's this sound? How's this sound right now?
It doesn't sound too bad.
Way better than you know what. Except for when you manhandle it like that,
Like
Adam.
Trump.
All of my
Jesus.
equipment I manhandled. So you can hear. I can't hear shit. I can't hear myself
Yeah.
say anything. But I sound adequate.
Yes, you do.
This is-
There's a little bit of a room echo.
I'm in a very reverberant room. It's a condenser microphone.
Yes, it is. I can't see that.
For those that are more business inclined, this is the Audix USB 12.
Oh, nice. Audix. I haven't heard anything from them
Podium
for a
It's
while.
still too far from your face. It's not. I
Podium.
can hear more of the room.
Oh, better.
No,
Whoa.
that's too much. Back.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like I'm at the Oscars, like when
Oh,
the people,
Podium.
the rappers get up and like,
Put it against your vocal.
Against my gullet.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
New microphone techniques for podcasting.
Get that
It's
throaty.
Like, it's like bone
Tom Clancy
conduction
sound.
microphone. Yeah, it's the opposite. Take this as a lesson of not improper mic technique, but there's no room echo when I do this, right?
That's right. That's right.
No, none. People at home are like adjusting their stereos. They're like, "What just happened?"
Are people still listening at this point?
No, they've
They
bailed.
gave up.
They're like, "Not them
This
again."
is the show, people.
This
Welcome.
is it. And it's got an on. It's got a mute.
Yeah, that
Yeah, you
works.
can.
Yeah,
Business.
couldn't hear nothing.
That's as business as it gets.
I mean, it's pretty rad. I like how low profile it is. How much is that Jammy Jam?
Ooh, let's find out. Let's consult the
so glad you're back,
podcastoutfitters.com.
Podcastoutfitters.com for all your podcasting equipment needs, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
Ladies and germs. $1 million.
169
Wow, that's a really good.
Is it USB?
USB.
Does it have XLR as
Yes.
well, or is it just
It does
USB?
not.
Okay. Still,
The B
Cardioid.
stands for business.
Business.
and it gets up closer to your mouth than like a Blue Yeti would.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
It looks
without
better on
being
camera.
intrusive. Yeah,
Yeah.
much better on camera. It's nice.
Cool.
So for those that are offended by the look of a microphone in your face, got your option right here.
For those of you who don't have a double chin to hide,
Or one of these.
Or one of those. What is that? Shotgun? What do you got?
Yeah,
what is
shotgun
that?
mic.
We've been down that
Marcus,
rabbit hole.
you're ridiculous.
AT875R from my
Oh, yeah.
video.
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, we already did that one. Go back and
Speaking
catch
of
up if you
which-
haven't seen it.
you know, we need to take a moment to talk about
Oh, boy.
Marcus's video.
Oh boy.
Let's do it. They should just roll the whole video.
We should.
Roll it.
No, nobody. Just go to YouTube and find it. Created a
Oh,
new
yeah.
channel. It's the first video podcast Audio Lab.
We don't want to take any of his plays away.
That's
You know
right.
what I
Don't
mean?
take my plays away, people.
You're right.
That's
You're
right.
right.
Fighting for visibility out in these streets.
That's right.
Marcus is killing it, dude. He's coming around the corner at 400 views, man. Got
Yeah.
his SEO score, loaded it up with tags. His TubeBuddy account is cranking.
That's right. Thanks to Molly giving me. I had not heard of TubeBuddy. Of course, my wife had heard of TubeBuddy, but she didn't let me know. I had to hear it from Molly. My own wife won't even tell me about TubeBuddy.
She's like, oh, yeah, me and Molly totally knew about that before you.
But yeah,
Yeah, man. Killing it. That video is really good.
This video
Thank you.
is legit.
thank
It's
you.
legit.
There's more coming. Not quite that production value. That was a huge undertaking to do all of those
Yeah.
graphics.
This
How
this
long-
video is going to get a bazillion views.
I hope so.
with a Z.
Yeah.
Bazillion.
That is how you spell it.
Mm.
Were you going to ask how long it took to make it?
Yeah. How long did it take you to do the whole thing, top to bottom?
It took me probably half a day to write the script, which I used my fancy schmancy teleprompter, which you can see in the video. Because if I go off topic, I start rambling, as you all know if you listen to this podcast.
Don't worry,
But-
no one listens to this podcast. It's fine.
So yeah, writing it, and I had, I knew up front that writing it was important ahead of time. So spending time up front doing that, but then actually filming it and getting the words out of my mouth, even though they were on a teleprompter for me, it still took me like almost a whole day. It didn't take me a whole day. It was 30 minutes worth of recording my script that ended up being a little less than 14 minutes of finished audio or finished video.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I had to do the B-roll, which took like another hour. So all those B-roll shots
Right.
of my rig and all the stuff that I cut to. But then the graphics, I went overboard on the graphics, and I still didn't do what I totally wanted to do because I wanted them to be animated, like with the little knobs turning and stuff. But that was going to be way too much.
Dude,
yeah.
you should have hit me up, man. I could have had John throw his special sauce on it.
But I know your team is busy, and you guys have, and I can't afford you right now.
And you gotta do it once, like, now you can do more and roll now that you've done yours and you have the model. It's legit.
Right. I don't plan on I am to do more comparisons, and I actually got an idea from a fellow podcaster. I cannot remember her name, but she works for Discovery Podcasts, and she tweeted a response to mine about the video saying that it would be cool to hear like what it sounds like doing double enders on an iPhone. So that's my next one,
Oh, yeah,
is
I
how to
saw
do
that
remote
comment.
recordings and
Yeah.
comparing the different.
Adam, you need to pull that mic closer to you. You sound
Yeah,
too
you
far
do.
away.
It's
Better.
really good.
I can maneuver this microphone.
That means it has good rejection, because when you get far away from it, it gets really, really quiet.
Which is pretty good for a condenser.
Yes, absolutely. But make sure you're close, just like I say in the video. So anyway, it was fun. I'm very proud of the video. It turned out almost exactly like I wanted it. Like I would want to spend like another full day, but I'm a perfectionist. It's never going to be done, so I just have to get it out there.
Don't let perfect be the enemy of good, my friend.
Exactly.
Well,
Yes.
I think it's great. I think it's perfect. You're
is.
only slightly awkward, which is,
And that's the
If you
thing.
were-
Like, I wanted my personality to come out, and I am slightly awkward. So.
exactly. If you were super smooth, it'd be like, oh, who's this guy? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Smoozy dude.
Who's this slippery guy over here? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's really good. I'm really impressed with it for sure. And yeah, I'm excited to see what you do more. I really like how you switched in between while you were talking, because that just really drove it home. And I love the in the women's editing group, they posted the video.
Oh, really?
And yeah, Carrie posted it for you, and and they all commented how they really loved how you put the like adjustments that you put.
That
you know how
see,
you
nobody
edit
has
it?
let me know that. This is the only feedback I've gotten about those graphics that I spent so
Yeah.
much time on. It took me like 2 days to do all those graphics.
Oh, good dude, would you just call me, man? Christ, we're not that busy.
Well, what it was
by
is
the
I
way,
had
if
to
you need
get-
a podcast.
I had to figure out all the timings and everything, and I didn't want to subject anybody else to that because I didn't make a note of them. So I was like going back into my DAW and making timestamps and then figuring out the gains and percentages. There's a lot of maths involved, and it was a lot of work. I won't be doing that again.
Well, it was
So.
super cool,
So who posted it in the women's group?
Carrie,
Oh, Caulfield, Eric.
the boss.
I like her. I didn't even realize she watched it. She didn't let me know publicly. Thanks a lot, Carrie. If you're listening, watch
Gee.
it.
She did more than that. She shared it, bro,
I
Yeah.
know, right?
to
But
the
not-
women's podcast group.
But not that I was aware of. I was like,
Because you're
Carrie
not
didn't
a
care about my
woman.
video.
Welcome
I-
welcome to YouTube.
I can't help it, Molly. I can't help it that I'm not a woman.
I mean, you should take some solace in the fact that knowing your video has gotten more views than our entire podcast.
Well, I will say that is largely thanks to Brian Barletta as well, because it went out as a part of his email. I didn't just make
Which
this
is
video.
which is also super cool. Double
Yeah.
kudos.
Yeah. It was actually the first edition of Sounds Profitable that I was able to understand.
I know, right?
I was like, oh, I can follow along with this one.
Yeah,
it's,
so thanks to Brian for having a kid. So he needed, some substitute writers, and he enlisted me to help fulfill his
There you
email
go.
newsletter. But
maybe if he
that's-
has more children, I'll get in there. I'll get my shot, my 15 minutes of Barletta fame.
You'll probably be moving up to the front with that Rage blog that you showed us that'll be coming out soon.
Man, let me tell you, I just got all fired up. Did you read that, Adam?
Oh yeah. Oh,
It's
I
awesome.
felt the rage.
I can't
felt
wait for
it.
people to read it.
Let's talk about that rage blog. Everyone
know-
deserves a good rage blog every now and then.
I feel like it was a very healthy use of my time. Like instead of
think
just
so.
like vague booking, I think rage blogging is the new jam. You
And
know?
it's not like
Nice.
it's a new topic for you. You've stood up on that soapbox and gone down that rabbit hole a couple times, but you got to try.
We still
every
need to hear
medium.
it.
They
Yeah.
need to hear it. They need to read it. They need to see
Yeah.
it.
They need to
be-
feel a little bit of shame. I was extra
Shame?
spicy in those bullet points. I was
Shame.
like, "Go ahead, superstar."
You should put the graphic of the woman from Game of Thrones shame on the top of it. And
I
that's how-
should.
That's how you should lead into it.
Photoshop
I
your face
might.
on top of it.
Yeah,
I might. Yeah, I'm gonna put Photoshop my face
your
on
face
top
with
of
the
that.
bell shame.
Yeah. But seriously,
You should just drop that graphic of you saying shame with a link to the article on everybody that doesn't do it right. Just go through all of YouTube, all of every group, and just
Oh my
bomb it in
God.
there. You'd be the ultimate podcast meme.
Yes.
Just
I'm
shame blog
I'm gonna
everybody
need to
into
do
it.
a photo shoot, but I am here for it. Put
got
on my
the
best
squad.
frock, make it happen. Oh man. Well, we don't need to be super cryptic, but an article came out last week. And it's so funny that you sent it because I read it and I was like, this motherfucker. And I just deleted it. And then a week later, you're like, this motherfucker.
Shit
Basically.
is this?
I was like, yes. I'm so glad that we are on the same wavelength here.
I
But,
usually breeze through those things, but that one I was like, what the
Yeah.
hell? What?
First of
Are you
all-
Pod News? What was it? Podcast Business Journal?
Yes, and then there's nothing. Okay, like it's like how to build a podcast studio on a shoestring budget, and then there's like nothing about buying equipment,
And
like
it's
there's
all
like nothing
wrong.
about
The words are wrong. It's like it's completely wrong.
It's just anybody can get published in the
Let's
podcast
get that dude
business
on the
journal.
podcast. Let's get the dude that wrote that thing on this podcast.
Shred him to bits.
Hey, hi. What were you thinking?
Let's talk about your piece.
Who are you?
What the
Who
fuck,
taught
man?
you to write? What is
Who
that?
do you think you are? What the hell was that
Who
about?
do you work for? Who do you work for?
Oh,
Guitar
man.
Center.
Yeah, what
What the hell is going
there.
on here?
a mess. What a mess. We won't get too specific, everybody, but it was specifically, and then now insert the picture of the article into our podcast because no one watches this
With the name blurred out.
with the name, with only the first and last initial blurred
Ted.
out. The rest of it,
I'm sure.
show the rest of it. That guy deserves to be shamed.
Oh my gosh, so bad.
Every
so bad. But-
mic needs an amplifier. What are you talking about, man? Who are you?
Yeah, so you can dial in the whatever. I don't
Dial
even
it
know what
in.
he's.
Are we
yeah.
going to drop excerpts from it? Is that what we're going to do?
No, please
Yeah.
don't.
That's not.
I didn't even
that's
read
not-
it.
Nope. Don't.
I
I think Marcus will get the most upset.
Oh, for sure. That was probably a good mental health
You'll just
protection move.
throw
for
Yeah.
not
everything off your
reading.
I did
desk
see
and
the
run
headline.
outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cameras flying.
This is garbage. Goes against everything you believe in, Marcus. It was like the antithesis to your entire belief system.
Now I almost want to read
Seriously.
it.
Yeah, he's like, you can even do it from your phone. I don't think he says that, but he might as well.
You might as
Right.
well have. AirPods are the best. That's basically, that might be-
AirPods have been proven scientifically to be the best microphone
That
you
was the
can
title.
use.
Yeah.
Yeah. AirPods
snorted.
are the best podcast mic. The end. Well, and it was also written like a tweet. Like it was like Prince of Petworth. He writes these articles that are like 4 sentences. It's like longer than a tweet, but it's like 2 tweets. Is basically a article from it, and that was kind of the equivalent. It was
So
like
do you have
5
to-
sentences.
Do you have to pay to get like a thing like that, or can you just write shit and they'll just post it?
Well, I used to
That's a
feel
good
pretty
question.
accomplished about getting published in the Podcast Business Journal until last week. Honestly,
I mean, let's not take away from it. Maybe they just no one. Everyone's on vacation. It's August.
Well, everybody was at Podcast Movement, so they're
That's
like,
right.
all right.
Quite the piece
So
to come out during podcast.
Yeah, they
movement.
couldn't like get an expose from the movement. Like what the shit? Like that's like prime time.
They probably met him there, and he was like, "I'm a fan. I hope this poor bastard never listens to this podcast."
He's probably one of our 10 listeners.
I know. Sorry, Ted.
Oh, I can do this. We've
Sorry,
just been saying,
Ted.
go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do some stuff. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And now we're chewing it to pieces.
I'm trying to find it.
I know. It's in the email titled from Adam titled "Garbage." Literally, look at this garbage or just
I
garbage.
just said garbage. It just said garbage.
I'm like, Adam's fired up today.
Oh, yeah, we're talking about my video.
No.
I'm just kidding.
The subject is garbage.
Well, a lot
There
has
it is.
happened. I re-recorded my entire course. I rewrote the whole thing.
Wow.
Dialed in on it.
MollyRuin.com.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, man. Well, nobody knows about it yet.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
son
Oh,
of a
shit.
bitch.
You 10
Adam.
people, keep that quiet. Keep that shit quiet.
That's right. I'm going to make you all send an NDA in my mind.
There we go.
Yeah. But I'm pretty stoked about that, man. Like, really dialed that in. Like, got my language together. Really focused on the branded podcast, like, content creation, all the stuff that I'm doing now, but just kind of a slightly different angle. So I'm really excited about it. Gonna launch that when I come back. I'm coming back to DC next week.
Ooh, nice.
I know. So I'll be here next Monday, but the next Monday I need to take off actually.
Is DC
Or I could
ready
come
for
to
Molly
Adam's
to come
house and we
back?
could do live from
There you
Adam's
go.
house.
Live from the pad.
You could bring another one of those shitty microphones home.
These guys
You can bring his headset in. for you to
Oh
use.
yeah, I could wear your headset. Just
dueling
Fucking-
headsets.
just touch it
Just
the whole time.
mangle it the whole time. Look, people, you can't see this yet, but the funnel is sweet. You got a nice little
Dude.
funnel going on here. It's
Dude,
Yes.
that
dialed
branded
in.
podcast blueprint funnel is the sexiest thing I've ever written in my life.
It is dialed in.
It keeps going. Like I was writing content for like 4 days. I'm like, am I done yet? And they're like, wait, there's one more section. I'm like, fuck sake.
They don't. Yeah. If you don't sign up for this course, then fuck you. Then what are you doing?
Well, so okay, so that's what I'm putting on my Facebook ad,
That's-
which is ironic.
that's
if you don't buy
one of the
this, fuck you.
testimonials.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for.
I think that is absolutely the right verbiage for this ad. It's eye catching
'Cause it's-
like, what?
What?
You talking to me?
Me?
Fuck me. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
I'm gonna click on this thing. I'm gonna charge you some money. Click on this ad if you want me to pay a dollar to get your lead, and then they're gonna pay you, and then
You're
it
right.
works.
They'll be like, I'll show you.
I'll show you.
It'll be the fastest dollar
Oh
you ever
shit,
made.
she's right. Yeah, it's gonna be great. I did immediately notice that you chose the graphic that does not say the podcast club, which is
I did.
only slightly
How
offensive,
dare you?
But
I know, because like I spent
Understood.
a whole course talking about how important your graphics are, and then someone's gonna be like, "Hey, Molly, did you notice that it says the?" And I'll be like, "Yes."
that's the title, idiot.
Do
But
what
we
I
decided to
say,
keep
not what
it.
I do.
Yeah. Speaking of which, so did you guys see the email I sent you about how we need to get our shit together?
Yeah.
Yes, Molly.
Yes,
I know.
I
Molly.
agree.
Molly. Yes.
And Matt too. Matt edited the course for me, and he's like, "This is good
Ooh.
stuff." I'm like, this was good. I didn't even think about having you watch this as a refresher, but this is great. Now I don't have to say these things to you. we can just do them. So Matt's going to send us the Halo marketing email every week. So we have
Cool.
all the graphics, the social share videos in an email. So you have no excuse not to like save them onto your phone and post them yourself and
Yeah,
do all of that.
Took me a
So
minute to figure out
inform our
how to
listeners,
drive.
what is this new platform you're building? Because we know, but we've kind of just alluded to it.
Well, it's just an opportunity for me to build a separate business doing public speaking and building online courses and doing focus calls with people that's separate from Heartcast Media so that I don't confuse my identity as Molly Rulin, the producer and content creator, with Molly, the owner and founder of Heartcast Media. And ultimately, the goal with Heartcast Media is to sell the company, get to $1 million in revenue next year. And then I just keep rocking until I get the right offer, or just keep rocking it forever. But I want to keep those things separate. So I wanted to build a separate business for the coaching and the speaking engagements and things like that. So when I sell Heartcast Media for $25 million, people can still pay me to speak at their next event to tell them how I did it.
Yes.
And when I sell the company, it won't take those assets with it. So it was definitely a business move. Also, it just gives me freedom to talk about the content that I want to, that's like separate from my personal Facebook page and separate from the business assets, but more about me, so I can say all the dumb shit I want to say without it being on like Heartcast Media, social media. And dumb shit, I mean like all the stuff we talk about here, and
Yeah.
not being
Business stuff.
not being so worried about being as polished, but being really authentic and honest with how I communicate with people. And so I'm excited about it. I think it'll be really cool, honestly.
I'm excited about it too.
Yeah,
And
man.
the website's fantastic.
Thanks, man.
It's awesome.
I've been working really hard, but it's just time. I want to go into the new year like with good assets. I'm doing a bunch of speaking engagements. I want to have something to direct people back to. There's just so many we do things sometimes and we don't like do them to completion, or we don't do them all the way, and then we miss half the juice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I'm just trying to make sure I'm not leaving anything on the table. And honestly, at the end of the day, I love talking with people. I love doing like focus sessions with people and being like, okay, what's your business? What's your obstacles? Who are you trying to reach? Why are you trying to reach them? What's your idea? Why is that your idea? All right, let's reverse engineer this. Let's dial this back in and figure out, well, why do you think? I mean, it's just like we did that episode when we were talking about your course. Like, why are you pricing it that way?
Yeah.
What's the motivation behind that? And then just presenting some other opportunities and ways of getting things done for people.
Yeah.
And
And that
I love that
conversation was a
I
huge
love that
pivot
shit.
for me. That I totally shifted my thinking on stuff after you guys hit me over the head in that conversation with some truth bombs.
That's awesome. I mean, we all need it. Like I had a meeting with my friend Katie Nelson, the sales catalyst, last night, and I was like, just catching up with her, and I showed her the funnel and everything, and I was like, what do you think? And she was like, why'd you price it this way? Because it was a different price. It was lower.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I'm not really sure. And she's like, okay, well, what do you charge to do this for like a corporation? I'm like, $1,500 for 2 hours,
Right.
and then for clients to do it for them, it's $2,500. And she's like, okay, well then you need to charge at least that. You can't, if you want to continue to charge them now, you can't charge them less for this course. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. So even me, the fuck that charge double girl had to be told like, fuck that charge
Fuck that charge.
triple, because I had totally undervalued it. And I don't need to. I've been doing this content. I've been selling this. I've been training people on this. Like, this is not like a new course. This is material that I have taught for years, and it works. So there's no reason for me to prove myself or offer a lower rate. And then, it was really great. We got to get Katie on this show too, talking about some of this stuff. Like, she was like, who's your client, right? I'm aiming at the branded podcast blueprint. It's for how businesses can create a podcast and direct their teams and delegate and when to outsource and what equipment to buy and all of that.
Yeah.
And so if you're on the fence between spending $500 or $1,500 for this course, like you're not my
You're not the
ideal
right-
client.
Yes. Yes.
You know, because
Right.
if you don't have 1,500 to spend on it, you don't have the $5,000 that it's really going to take to produce a branded podcast.
Exactly.
And so if you have to make that, you know what I mean? And so, and that was a really good point, right? Like it's not, you know, it's a higher level offering because it's for branded podcasting. And I'm giving all these industry secrets and tips and tricks that I've been using on these heavy hitters who pay me a lot more money monthly than people will pay one time for the course, right? So
Right.
it's just a good reminder to whatever you think you're worth, like double it for real.
Yeah.
So many reasons.
Yeah.
That's a sexy funnel, isn't it, Adam? That shit is
I'm
banging.
about to give you my money right now.
Hey, you want to get the course, don't you?
I'm booked. I'm booked this shit.
Dude, and it's been so many iterations. Like I think it's done, and then I walk away for 2 days, and I come back and I rewrite content. I've just been rewriting, and it's been a real journey too. Learning about, instead of talking about like what I can do and who I am, it's more like how will you feel? What's the transformation? What is the benefit you get working with me and doing this thing, and not about me.
Yes.
It's a real, you know. Like the Podcast Business Journal actually pushed this course the other day, and it was like, you know, dude who's been in the business 25 years in radio, and he has this course on like how to start a podcast, but his whole push is like how to start it in 30 days. And then it's either $300 or $3,000, and he does it over 4 Tuesdays when like on Zoom calls. But the difference between the $300 course and the $3,000 course is that you get 4 one-on-one hour-long meetings with him, and he will give you personalized equipment recommendations, and he'll help you set up your RSS feed. So 4 hours with him is basically worth $2,700.
And I get a feeling that even those personalized, tailored sessions with him are probably not going to be exactly what you need, because it's going to all probably still be about him.
Or it's just going to be like an equipment list.
Right.
May or
The
not.
standardized.
But who knows?
Yeah.
He has a nice face. He seems like a lovely man, but it's just interesting to see, you know, and his whole angle was like, start it now, do it in 30 days, get it up quickly, now, enroll now. And so it was like, there's some like sort of rush on starting, you know what I mean? It was just
Well, that is
You know,
a
you spend all
marketing
these-
tactic. The urgency factor is getting people to put their money down
I
for your
guess.
course and stuff. So, yeah.
Enroll now. Ah!
Yeah. The world is ending, which it might, but
But it's interesting to see, you know, it's just interesting to see what's out there. And I'm curious to see, you know, what the response will be to this course. But I think it's going to be good because it's good content.
yes.
It's great shit.
And you're targeting women too, specifically, right? Or are
No,
you?
you know what I've decided? I don't want to target just women because I don't want to work with just women. I want to work with women, but I don't want to work with just women. Like I work
Okay.
really well with all humans, you know?
Yeah.
And so I don't want to close the door on that, but I'm extra
Like your
motivated
ideal
to
client is
empower more women
Yes.
and rattle that tree. Like I have a friend who's a musician, and I'm helping her with some stuff, and she's like, man, if only, she's like, I'm quoting you now the last 2 weeks. She's like, you're literally on my shoulder. Like I'm charging more money. She's like, it's kind of crazy. I'm like, this is exactly, you know, like if I could be that for women, that's great. But I'm also happy to be like a consultant or a producer or your mentor or whatever you want to call it, like whoever you may be, man, woman, non-gender binary. You know, I'm not here to judge. Just tell me how you want me to address you, and I'll give you the best advice that I got, right? I'll give you my full attention and answer as many questions as I can. And I think that's a better lane for me. But personally, I would love if I could empower a whole bunch of women to like make more money and empower more women. But it's not my solo dolo audience, as they say.
Gotcha.
No one says that. I say that dumb shit, but whatever.
As they say.
We're all going to start saying it now.
Solo dolo. You know, what are you going to do?
Well, as a follow up to that conversation where you guys beat me over the head with the truth, which I needed, I have decided to focus on, like what you guys were saying, that middle tier of like the higher end, the mid to high end level of
Good.
people that I'm not going after the people that don't want to spend $50 on a microphone.
Right.
And I'm not like, I'm still aware of them, but I am not specifically going after them in any way.
Good.
You know, but the way I'm seeing it is, and this can lead into our next topic about Tom Widmer's piece, is that the content that I provide on YouTube, which with what I've been learning from Jen, from my wife, is with the free content you provide, you basically tell people, you demonstrate what the problem is without telling them exactly how to solve it, so that they have to pay to solve. They have to pay you to learn how to solve it, but you talk about what the problems are. So that to me is what's going to serve those I can't afford a $50 microphone people, while also serving my target people and funneling them into them giving me money. So
because it works as a funnel. Exactly.
Yeah. And YouTube is going to be at the center of that, which is what Tom Webster talked about in his keynote at Podcast Movement regarding, with podcasts specifically, how, and it was an amazing keynote, and he also followed it up with his weekly newsletter that we'll link to in the show notes. That YouTube basically is one of the biggest opportunities still for podcasters, but also for people like us who are making courses. He didn't talk about the course thing specifically. He was talking about podcasts, but it just nailed that idea that I do need to invest more in YouTube as a funnel, as part of my, as the entry, like the wide mouth part of my funnel, driving people to my deeper content.
For sure. Adam, that video that you did on the Shure MV7, where's that one at? What kind of number? That one did pretty good numbers too, didn't it?
Yeah, that's my.
Yeah, because that was, you were one of the first videos about it.
Oh yeah, he was not fucking around. He was like waiting to press publish the second clock struck midnight.
The moratorium was over
that morning. Let's see.
That was a good video too, man.
It was.
Thank you.
I can't
believe Chuck Levins or Podcast Outfitters?
He did it twice. He did it in 2 different T-shirts. This is the most gangster shit I've ever heard. Yes,
twice.
Marcus. So sharpen your sword, buddy, because you're gonna have to start doing your videos twice too.
Well, and Adam's got a team.
Twice.
By the way, this is moonshine.
Nice. Is it really? Costa Rican moonshine?
It's just my tears that I've been collecting.
As you've rewriting your content.
Yeah, as I read articles on podcast business.
6,000 views.
Whoa, dude.
The cow.
6,000.
6,200.
Okay, I'm curious about your SEO score on that Mickey Flicky. You got to drop the thing in the chat.
I bet it's not good. I bet it's pretty bad. But
why?
Because I don't think any of my guys did anything on that. No offense, guys, if you're listening, but you're not. No, I just made the video and we just put it up. Just links back to the website. I don't know if it has any of the tags or any of the other cool stuff that you're supposed to do behind the video.
Let's see. I'm looking for it. Shure MV7 Podcast Outfitters.
Dude,
and for those of you who don't know, Podcast Outfitters is a family-owned legacy business located in Washington, D.C.
That's right.
And oh, look at you with Joe Rogan clips. Nice. Oh, that's why, because you have Joe. Did you see this? When you search Shure MV7 Podcast Outfitters, it plays like a little GIF, and it's you, the microphone, Joe Rogan, and T.I.
Oh, really?
That's why people are clicking it, because they're like,
crew.
T.I.'s on
That's
there.
your crew.
Holy shit.
My people.
That's your peeps. Yeah. 3 ways to use. Oh, sure. I'm like, how come this one has 59,000 views? But that's because it's
Shure's video.
Shure.
Yeah.
Sure. Think Media. Okay, Think Media. Think Media. Okay, let's.
But no, YouTube. I mean, YouTube is super powerful. I'm still trying to make it click on our side of things too, and it's not late in that game. It is still ripe. It's probably more ripe than it ever has been. It's it's becoming even more of an authority every day.
Yeah, well, what was interesting about your SEO score is 56. It's not. No, it's 85. That's not terrible. You got
That's
some.
good.
You got some.
Good job, Eric.
You did get 4 thumbs down, though.
I know. I was just about to say 4 people. Let's find these bastards. Where are you
Assholes.
son of a bitches? Who thumbs down
Does that?
on my video about microphones? Like, what are you doing? That's not what it said on the box. Why are people so ridiculous, though? Seriously.
They love to air their grievances on the YouTube comments and whatnot.
Well, okay, so Tom Webster, my man, 50
Yes.
grand, funniest dude in podcasting,
I love that guy.
other than me. I just
Yes,
refer to
true.
myself
Well,
as
you're not a dude,
Well, you
so
said funniest
yeah.
dude. So
Yes,
That's right.
exactly.
But
So-
he, in that report talks about like the share of ear and all that, the Edison report. But what I found really interesting is that there's a large percentage of people who listen to podcasts on YouTube. It's because they were already on YouTube.
Yes.
Right. And so we talk a lot about discoverability, and it's like, if you watch just today, I Googled or went on YouTube and looked up Joe Rogan, Paul Stamets episode, because there's an episode with Paul Stamets, the world's leading mycologist, on Joe Rogan. And it's fascinating. He's an expert in mushrooms, and not just the kind that make you hallucinate, but all mushrooms, and has all these crazy patents and how it can regenerate brain cells and kill radioactive shit from the soil and whatever. Mushrooms are just the most powerful tool ever, So then if I click on that and I watch that episode, then YouTube is going to suggest a whole bunch of other podcasts about, with those same people or those same topics. Next
By
thing you
Joe
know,
Rogan.
I just discovered a new podcast because of those tags, because of those SEO scores, and solely because of YouTube, because they going to keep my ass on that platform. So I would venture to say that YouTube is doing a much better job of discoverability, because iTunes isn't going to serve you other other podcasts that are that dialed into the content. They're just going to serve you whatever asshole is in new and noteworthy.
Exactly.
It's all about the algorithm.
Yes. Yep. And there's the Apple thing, the categories thing in Apple is just useless. It is about the algorithm, and Google has the best algorithms of anybody.
That's kind of a play for Spotify. I mean, I don't. It's way more about discoverability than iTunes is.
That's true.
Podcasters,
That's true.
you know?
And Tom pointed out in his data that Spotify has leapfrogged in front of Apple now for, according to the people they polled, at least the most used app where people listen to podcasts.
That is interesting.
Yeah, for the people that they polled. And that's more, and that's people telling a surveyor that this is what I use, as opposed to looking at download numbers, which is what we're used to seeing from everybody else. Of, Apple gets 60% of it, and it's because Apple's downloading things multiple times and all this weird stuff.
Did
So
Facebook come out with their thing yet?
it's rolling out slowly. I haven't seen anybody using it. But typical social media platform thing where they have to do it a little bit at a time. So it'll be interesting to see, because he did talk about that too a little bit, because so many people spend time on Facebook. Not me, well, I guess Molly, you do a little bit, but
I try not to.
yeah. But there are, and especially depending on who your audience is, if you've got the older demographic, then they are definitely on Facebook more.
If you're looking
So
for anti-vaxxers, you can find them. And
that is the place to go for sure.
I'm on there all the time because you just got to see what everyone's saying.
Yes,
You got to
yes.
see what the peeps are talking about.
But the whole living on YouTube thing and the search algorithm really hit me. And again, and we talked about this, one of the previous Edison Research. So Tom Webster, he is one of the senior VPs at Edison Research. So that's why he is an authority on this stuff and why we should all be listening to him. Plus he's hilarious, like Molly pointed out.
Yeah.
But he pointed out again that word of mouth is still up there along with Google search for how people discover new shows. And to me, part of the word of mouth is the whole social media thing, because like if I was asked, especially nowadays in COVID, a lot of the word of mouth that I hear is from people interacting with people on social media. It's not face to face or phone calls or anything. So it's all connected. And his whole keynote was about what has become the most annoying question that I just hear constantly people harping on, of how do you grow your audience? And like, obviously it's a valid thing, but I feel like that's all at these conferences people want to talk about, or all they choose the topics are it's all about marketing and all of these like silver bullet type things of how to grow your audience, and that, like you were talking about, just get your podcast out there and launch it in 30 days and all this stuff. And I'm kind of sick of it, but Tom's way that he addressed it, like I love, because it was just no nonsense and very practical, backed with data, unlike these other people that are just speaking anecdotally from their own personal experience.
What I do is,
yes, what's worked for me is, well, it's like, you're not me. But the other point he made in the keynote that made me really sit up and go, yes, was the question that so many podcasters ask of, how long should my episodes be? Because that's a big factor in retaining audience and that sort of thing. So it's a valid question. But I hear a lot of people say just as long as it needs to be, and that's a valid answer. However, Tom has given the best answer, I think, so far. And the way he set it up, if you can afford to pay for the recordings of the podcast movement, it's worth it to hear his keynote, in my opinion, if you can afford that. But
you're just gonna leave us hanging like that? You're not gonna
well, no, I'm gonna say it. But I don't. What I'm leading in was with I am not going to express this as good as he did. But it's a lot of it is in that article that he also wrote. But what he said is, your podcast length should be shorter than the previous one. And what he means by that is, you don't want to waste people's time. You want to constantly be perfecting your own process, and not just the process of the production itself, but your process of expressing your ideas to people. And the more condensed you can give people things to walk away with. And this is something I've always believed too. Like, I love super short episodes, because it's like, get to the point and leave them wanting more. Like that's the whole thing that his point was. Like, you want to keep whittling it down to where it's as refined as possible on every single level. And I love that.
That's right, people. You heard it here first. Catch us next week on the Podcast Club.
We're out. It's been an hour.
It's been 59 minutes, and we're out, people. I'm just saying, I feel like if there was ever a good time to end this show, it was right there. We'll catch you on the next one, people. It'll be even better than this week.
That's
and
right.
Shorter. See ya.